And we are back here once again with another episode of the Iron Man podcast, episode 513. So, as you guys know, we talked about doing this on an episode of the Iron Man podcast. I think it was Tuesday's show or Monday's show, where later on this year, after this episode, because this is like the initial one to start it all off, we're going to actually do a NBA Iron Man podcast episodes talking about the games of the week, what ended up happening, best plays, all that stuff, basically. Kind of like how we do for League of Legends, basically similar like that. The only thing I can't do is because for League, I can go on the highlight channels and go through the plays and stuff like that. You actually can't do that on YouTube. I tried doing that a long, long time ago on the Nightwing podcast. They would demonetize the episode until you cut out the part. So, we'll be doing that later on in the year when the season kicks off again. Hopefully the Lakers can win another title. But, sadly, I think that's past, honestly. Yeah, we won one in 2020 in a box format, which a lot of people don't even count.
That was an asterisk win. That wasn't
a win. Oh, shit. So, basically, for this episode, we're going to talk about the Celtics winning the 2024 NBA championship. They get that elusive 18th title that they've been chasing since 2008. In 2008, I was in fucking 8th grade the last time they won.
Which, by the way, tied the Lakers for most titles. Just saying.
And then we'll talk about some of the news that ended up happening that came out later on this week was that LeBron James's son, Bronny, whatever the fuck his name is, he's black, his opinion doesn't matter, is going to be joining the Lakers. Yes, with his dad. Not even kidding. This is going to be the first ever father-son duo in the NBA. And, Darnell's a huge fan of Caitlin Clark, actually, because she's just been stomping the NBA and the WNBA, I should say, to death, actually, right now. So, yeah. So, as you guys know, since we're going to have more episodes like this later on in the year, so this is kind of like the first one to get the ball rolling. We'll start like this. How did you ever start watching the NBA in general?
Me? I was as a kid. I grew up. My dad was one of those. I grew up in the 80s, so he was one of those. No video games, no D&D. Stay away from that. You're gonna grow up and be an athlete. Okay, go.
Kids these days.
I know, right? So yeah, I wasn't. I'm gonna play sports, but I mean, sports was fun. I enjoyed sports. So as far as I can remember, I remember watching the NBA. Like I think Jordan's first year was the year I started watching, like really watching basketball. And I watched up until about the Summer of Love.
Or you watched essentially his whole run in the NBA.
Oh, yeah. I watched everything. I watched up until, like I said, till about 2020. I just kind of like stopped watching sports, and then I just got back into it again because of betting a few months ago.
Yeah, same here. So for me, I'd watch games because our teacher said they would. I don't know which grade I was in, like 3rd or 4th. She or he said we would get like extra credit for watching games. And this is back when like Kobe was big on the Lakers. Actually, we'd watch like any of the games that I could for extra credit, and then we didn't have cable for a little bit. But then by the time we could see games, I had to watch some at like school, and I had seen like the Raptors game with Kobe where he dropped like 80 points in the game. I remember that being a huge thing for him to do that. And then when we got cable back fully again, I watched the last time the Lakers won an official championship back in 2010. We had Derek Fisher, Pau Gasol, Metta World Peace, and after that, I watched the roster where it was Steve Nash, the one black guy, Derek Howard, right?
Gary Payton.
Yeah, that whole roster flopped. Fucking hell, because
I know, man.
I remember like 2011, like looking at how much they basically scraped by winning that 2010 championship, I was sitting there thinking to myself, wow, it looks like we're probably never going to win again. And it's like, shit. And in 2012, when we had that like competitive Trinity roster, I remember we watched every game and I was like, damn, this team is absolute trash. This team stinks, actually. Then I remember watching a few years with Swaggy P. He was dating Iggy Azalea. That roster sucked. That roster is terrible.
It was trash.
That roster is ass.
Yeah.
Good Lord. Yeah. And then a bunch more bad things have happened with the Lakers. Magic Johnson left. I remember that.
To be fair, I was never really a Lakers fan. I was
Man, you
I've
would have to
always
know. They're
hated.
blasting this up on the news so much. There's no way you wouldn't know.
Right. I mean, they're always in the forefront of all conversations. I just never liked them,
Oh, okay.
especially like
That's because you
when
hate black people.
no. The whole Magic. I love Magic Johnson. That was probably my last Laker I liked.
Yeah.
When Kobe got drafted, he was drafted the year that I was a Hornets fan, like a massive Hornets fan. And when I found out what he did before the draft, I was like, I'll never like Kobe Bryant ever after what he did.
Mhm.
He straight up told the Hornets, "You draft me, I will refuse to play, and I'm going overseas." So that's how they got
Mhm.
Vlade Divac. They
Yeah.
did a massive trade for that pick, which pissed me off because he was like, coming into the NBA league, like a high school player, just I don't just
Did I say
he
Derek?
just
Oh my
pissed me
goodness.
off.
I just got off work. My brain is mush right now. Forgive me, please.
Dwight
Yeah,
Howard.
so that's what ended up happening. I remember watching the years that the Warriors won. That was really, really huge. I
Yeah.
remember they basically were just stomping the league, honestly. And then I remember it was Kevin Durant when he went over to the Warriors to try to win a championship, and then
Mm-hmm.
he won, and then a lot of people were like, fucking, do you just go to super teams to win? I remember when LeBron went to the Cavaliers, man. I've watched many years of the sport. I remember Ray Allen saving LeBron James's fucking season. You
Yeah,
know?
he's the reason that man has as many titles as he has. Him and fuck, who's the guy in Cleveland? There's a guy in Cleveland that did it.
Oh, fucking
Was it
hell.
Kevin Love? I can't remember.
Yeah.
I can't remember who it was.
Yeah.
Like he hits the major shot to win the title.
Yeah.
He would have only one title if it wouldn't be for those two guys.
I'll be honest here, man. When they put LeBron on the Lakers back in 2020 he was first on, or 2019? It was 2019 or 2020
I
or
don't remember.
2018. It's one of those years. I kind of figured he was only going to be on there for like a couple years, honestly.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
I was used to this guy just going to teams, being there for a couple years, then just fucking leaving. He's been here for a while at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh no. Chaz got it. It's Kyrie Irving hit the shot.
Yeah.
But if he hadn't hit that shot, they were losing that. They were losing that series. That shot saved them.
Yeah, fucking hell. And I remember, like, people didn't really even bet on the Spurs that much when it was Miami Heat versus Spurs. I remember, like, most people thought the Heat were going to win. And when you actually remember watching the games, you were like, I'll be honest with you, when I was watching those games, I was watching them religiously throughout the entirety of the broadcast. Mm-hmm. The Spurs were stomping them. I don't know what happened to them. I don't know if they mentally imploded, but they were getting clapped.
I'm gonna sound like I'm gonna sound like a hater. I used to watch those games with a fine tooth comb, and I would
Me too. Yeah,
I'd post on Facebook as shit happened. And so like I have an app called Time Hop. So it goes like I've been having it for like 8 years. So it goes back 8 years on every social media I have connected. 8 years on this day. And just a few weeks ago, I was seeing old posts I was making talking about how like Dwayne Wade would drive down, like he would jump to shoot, and there's like 2-3 feet distance between him and the other guy, and the ref behind the goal is calling a foul. Like Dwayne Wade would drive down, shove the dude, jump, and they call the guy for the foul while he's falling backwards. LeBron James driving down, the dude puts his hand up, doesn't even jump. LeBron comes nowhere near his hand, they call a foul. Dwayne Wade jumped up, kicked the dude in the nuts, and they called the guy for the foul.
Okay, there was one I remember where it was a Laker game, and one of the dude was driving in to dunk the ball, and he actually elbowed the dude in the face.
Yeah, and they called the guy for the foul.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck is... Refs have always been trash. I don't know why people think they've always sucked for the most part.
Yeah, refs, dude. I mean, I'm as a former referee myself, I'm gonna say
he's like, I suck too, you know.
There's a lot that goes in. There's a lot of fucking pressure for these guys, man. But also there's a lot of players that you see get calls, and like I know a lot of times they'll call a foul, and people scream that wasn't a foul. There's a thing called a makeup. Like if you missed a foul like 2 possessions earlier, just hypothetically, you see a chance to make it up. I didn't call it, so I'm gonna call one now, just to kind of like make up what I missed.
What's up, Chaz? How you doing, man? Hope you had a good day at work, dude. What's up, Michael? How you doing, man?
Bud? What's up, guys?
Oof, man. What other great moments do I kind of think of that I remember? Oh, last year. I know I watched Okay, so I know the Lakers started off really shitty in the regular season because I watched a few games here and I was like, oh, this team sucks. Everyone said, oh, when LeBron James comes back, they'll get better. He did.
They didn't.
Yeah. It
They're
was.
still humming around eighth place.
that's, that's getting better for people now. You're basically borderline making playoffs.
Yeah.
That's not good. Like,
And listen,
if you have like storied orgs like Lakers, people expect you to win like the entire thing. You're supposed to win.
Right. And listen, they only made the playoffs because they played in tournament.
Oh yeah, that wasn't a thing back in the day. That they invented that now.
That started a few years ago. That wasn't a thing before. If you didn't make the top 8,
okay,
you weren't.
So can you run that by me because I wasn't around for that year? But why did they put that in?
I'm gonna again sound like a hater. I think they did it for LeBron James because his teams were hovering on eighth place, and to get him, I think every time they've made the playoffs, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think every time they made the playoffs since that thing has come in has been either just squeaked in or they've played in tournament to get in, except for that bubble year.
Because playing tournaments is what they have for league. Like the weakest teams get in and they have to kind of qualify for the playoffs. Well,
the top 6 make it.
Yeah.
7 plays 8, 10 plays 7, 9 plays 8. The 2 winners play. Or I don't know how it works, but the 2 out of the 4 teams, the top 2 take 7 and 8. So yeah, it's ridiculous. Or did they take 8th place? Whatever.
I'll be honest with you, that sounds kind of useless. Like, who'd want to watch like a 10th and 9th and 8th place team fight each other to qualify into playoffs?
Apparently, just LeBron James people want to watch it.
You could literally. I know they can't do double elim in this kind of thing because it's a physical sport, but like. That most of the time, an 8th place team is getting knocked out early on anyway. They're not even worth the time.
I think only once or twice the 8th seed has ever won and moved on.
These are my point. Yeah, like I don't know why leagues, even in League of Legends, this happens too. People are so forgiving of teams that are like 7th and 8th. They're thinking like we're gonna get some fucking miracle. It's like no, they're fucking 8th or 7th for a reason. They're not good.
I think it was the Pelicans were 5th towards the end of the season. They ended up squeaking in. They ended up winning their way into the 8th spot. And I remember brother-in-law was like, man, they beat the Thunder 4 out of 5 games. They're gonna challenge them. I said, brother, they're getting swept. Oh my God. I promise you, they're getting swept. And what happened? They got destroyed.
Why do they do this, that's man? How it is. Who wants to watch 9th versus 10th? Who's sitting there going, man, I'm gonna get off work after having a shitty ass day, come on with my wife and some kids to watch a 9th versus 10th.
Well, if it's LeBron James, they want to watch it because that dude, that's how he got into the playoffs.
Ratings. Yeah.
I think he was 9th or maybe even 10th. I think they were 9th or 10th. Yeah, ratings, because LeBron they wanted to. What they try to do is, again, I sound like a hater, but really the real reason is for ratings. The NBA's ratings have been dropping steadily, and they want to inject
too. Well, it's not actually. To be fair, it's actually not just them. Baseball's ratings have been tanking for a long time. Football's been pretty stagnant. You know, here and there, outside of like the Super Bowl, that always going to do decently well.
Well, what's been I know a lot of people, and I know this isn't describe everybody, but I know when the Summer of Love, 2020, when every league was like picking sides politically and socially, and we're starting to know all the all the social justice events and stuff. It was turning a lot of people off. A lot of people are like, man, I want to watch a sport. I don't give a shit about this. I want to watch a sport. And
I actually like the play-in after originally hating it. If the team doesn't belong as that final seed spot, they will lose. Take the Heat, for instance. They actually went to finals from the play-in. Wasn't that the bubble year, actually?
If so, that wasn't.
Yeah, because I know the Heat made the finals in 2020. I know that, but
I know the ratings were dropping before 2020. But when that year came, that's when everything started to tank. Every league started to like panic. Oh no,
I was just pointing out the fact that traditional sports ratings have been going down for a hot minute. Now to be fair, it's also because people are also cord cutting, which would inherently mean less sports watching.
There's that. I mean, just the general like baseball. I love watching live baseball. Like going to a game. I hate watching TV.
I can't watch on TV.
Was it 2 years ago they implemented the pitch timer? When the pitcher gets the ball, he's got 20 seconds to pitch. Now games are actually interesting. Games went from 4 hours to like an hour and a half, maybe 2. Dude, it's great.
Yeah, games were boring. Dude, I'll go over to my friend James' house. We watch a game just a little bit. Like, I watch a
Mm-hmm.
Dodgers game because I was also from
Mm-hmm.
California.
Yep.
Boring as fuck. I actually
Bro.
I played baseball. I played softball for church. I like the
Mm-hmm.
sport. It's not like it's
Yeah.
boring. It's boring to watch. If you're actually playing baseball, it's really fun. Like, I really enjoy it.
Right. If you haven't watched in the last couple of years, give a game a shot. I've watched more baseball this year than I have in the last 6 years.
Really? Oh,
Because
shit. Okay.
again, the pitcher, once he gets the ball, he's got 20 seconds to pitch. And
Mhm.
then once the batter gets in the box, he can't keep stepping out like he used to.
Mhm.
Like once he gets in the box, that's it. You're there. Like I think you can step out after a pitch. You have like a certain amount of time to get right back into the box.
Sick.
They
All
can't
right.
waste time.
All
Yeah,
right.
man.
So,
It's like 25 seconds.
I remember I was DMing Chaz because
Mhm.
he said that because he was talking about the NBA Finals on one of our League of Legends podcast episodes, and I was like, you know what? I ain't watching like most of the year. I'll just dip in, watch it. So I watched the first because the first two were Celtics or home games, right, for
Mhm.
them. Yeah, those were like complete fucking stomps for the most part.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like
like Dallas didn't show up at all. They were still in
game
Dallas.
game three, probably the closest game at that
Yeah.
moment in time. Luka got fouled out, so he couldn't
Mhm.
play the rest of the game. That was actually like if you just look at the score line, you probably think, oh, that's a blowout. Now they actually, it was a decently close game.
Yeah,
I
it
would
was a
say.
close game. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was close for the most part. But the other 4 games in the series were just massive blowouts.
Mm-hmm.
Dallas
And
finally showed
then
up in game 4
game
and
four,
just
didn't they have, yeah, wasn't it like
blew
what,
out.
107-70 or something like
Yeah,
that?
it
It's
was
like the
like a
biggest
mass. It was
lead in
like
the final
yeah,
shit. Yeah, it's
massive
crazy.
blowout. Then they came out the next night and just or 2 nights later and just shit the bed again.
Yeah, I recently saw game five and I was like, man, they just look bad. It's they have
Yeah.
no, it's nothing. Like when I was watching these games, I was sitting there watching, going like, unless Kyrie Irving and Luca just drive the ball in and make either a layup or they do one of the shots before, like anything basically not a three, they can make points, right?
Yeah.
Problem is that's the only way they can win. They have to win either driving the ball in
Or
or
dropping
because
threes. Yeah.
that's it. Because I was
Yeah.
watching game five and I was sitting there thinking, like, damn, Kyrie is like actually out here putting up an actual championship level performance. Him and Luca were doing great.
Look, the whole playoffs, both of them were just massive. I think the Lakers series, I'm not gonna say drained them, but after the Lakers series, they didn't seem themselves. The Lakers series was very draining. It's very emotional. I think it was like a massive and I as a fair weather fan, it was draining for me
Mm-hmm.
because it was, dude, like every few seconds it was LeBron. And I know people like to ride his freaking dick, but dude, I mean, I don't know another player who takes off as many defensive plays as he does. I don't know another player who bitches as much as he does. I'm gonna refer back to a play in that series. A foul was not called against the Dallas player. I don't even think there was really a foul. I think on replay it wasn't a foul. And even the Clippers. Yeah, it was the Clippers. It was the Clippers. Correct. Thank you, Chaz. I like MSK. My brain's burned out right now. He goes to the referee who's standing by the bench out of bounds and is literally jumping and stomping his feet like this, screaming like a child. Referee hands the ball to the player because you're not gonna stop the game for this shit. Hands the ball to the Clippers. Guy bounce passes in. LeBron's guy scores a layup. Now the game was out. The game was out of reach at that point, but that shows you the measure of his class. And that series I think that series kind of drained a lot of people. And yeah, Denver. Yeah, the Denver series was what drained out the fucking the
I'll just be
Mavericks.
honest here, man. Denver's had Lakers' numbers since like last year. They blew them out hard.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Now, I will say that score line looks really bad if you just look at the score line. Some of those games were for sure winnable, for sure. But it got to a point where, like, I don't know how you look at this, man. So how do you look at this? You know, like that. We'll just use that series for example. You're like really, really close to winning, but it doesn't show on the score line. But you know you were so close to winning those games, and you still can't win a game. How do you classify a game like that? Like, or a
I'll
series?
I would I mean I would
Because you
look at
can't,
like
because you're good enough to almost beat them, but you're not getting any wins on the board. Like, that's just really frustrating.
it is. I've never played on a team that's won a title. We've always been like middle of the pack or like
I
just
played with black guys on the street, and
or just at that cusp of winning, and you just you get beat.
like, dude,
It's
yeah,
frustrating.
imagine that. Imagine playing a team that hard, and you are, I'm shit you not, they're 1-8 against them in the last. That's depressing. That
Yeah,
means no matter what they're doing, it doesn't matter.
and you're supposed to be the best team in the freaking league, right?
You know,
You've been
LeBron's
hanging. You've
crying in
been
the locker room. He's like, we can't get past these people, man. It's just too
yeah.
good.
Yeah, I mean, but you'll never hear him say that. It's
Oh, you
always
would never say that.
when
Yeah.
when they lose, it's other people's fault. When they win, it's his skill. I don't know any other player that leaves the bench as early in the game as he does.
Mm.
Like they're losing, he'll leave it 2 minutes left in the game, 4 minutes left in
Man,
the game.
I'll give it to Jason Tatum. He was just absolutely on
Oh my
fire.
god, yeah,
Game five, you know
regret
he
I
wanted to
regret that.
win.
Oh yeah,
Someone said that they threw game 4 just so they could win with the home crowd. I'm like, okay, people, I know those are memes. No one just willingly throws games like
no,
that.
hold on. I'm gonna say officially, no one throws games like that. But
Yes.
as a sport watcher my whole life, teams have thrown games like that just to win at
I'm
home.
just saying,
It has
man.
happened. It's
Imagine
happened.
just knowing that anytime you do anything against that team, no matter, even if the game is close and there's a chance that you can win, you still can't win. Chad says
Yeah.
1-8 and the one game Denver didn't. That is
Yeah.
so depressing.
Denver just like barely. Denver's like, "Oh, we have to put people in the court, so we're gonna put people in the court."
Give them their fucking backups. They wouldn't play in any other official game except for that one because it just doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Walter says, to be fair, the Nuggets whooped everybody like that before the Timberwolves this year.
They
True.
did. Yeah. And then, like he said, like Chad said, they were exhausted by the time they got to that. By the time they got to the Timberwolves, they were just beat, man. They were
Also,
exhausted.
Drew Holiday on fire in game 5. There was, oh my goodness, there was a play I saw. This dude made almost a half court, no, it was not a 3-point buzzer shot. He had already did this earlier. Imagine that. Imagine your team is only able to win with basically just buckets and layups and easy free throws. Oh, sorry, free pointers. And this guy is able to just make a 3-pointer on the buzzer. Just walk over and just give him the. There's nothing you can do. There's absolutely nothing they can do. That's depressing.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
what can they do?
And look, I was watching Boston played Phoenix earlier in the season, and it was a game I was watching.
Yeah, he made a second shot in the series like that. That is, imagine Kyrie Irving is just like, man, we can probably do this. Guy makes a 3-point buzzer. Oh, fucking going home. That is depressing. That is so bad.
It does. Look, I know a lot of people will get mad when they see like the foul called, so the play stops and the player shoots the ball just for the hell of it, and then you see the other team go through and like not prevent the ball from going in. I think it's dumb, but at the same time, it does take some wind out of your sails. Like, say I'm on defense, my team's on defense, a foul's called, and play stops. The dude just like drops a 3 from way behind the line. It goes in, even though the play is dead. It still does take something out of your sails. It does take some wind out. So
Jaylen Brown was on fire, and it's a problem with when I was watching the series was that even if Kyrie and Luka are like, hey, we're gonna do this to win. You have to factor in that's only going to work like in one game. They figured out how you're going to play. The average player on the Celtics, from what I looked at, and Chaz and Walter were right, the average person on the Celtics averaged like 20 points for threes? That's crazy. That means nothing you can do can matter. Mavericks can only play in one way, and the Celtics can play multiple ways.
And I miss the days when you could see teams change their not philosophy, change their tactics on the fly, and it's a whole new game. You know, it's like, hey, like the I'm gonna go back to the early 90s when the NBA was a freaking when NBA was a wrestling league. You got Detroit comes in and they literally beating people up. Teams would change their strategy and fucking destroy them. You know?
Yeah, man, they just had no chance. Like, even when I forgot one of the other Mavericks players, he came up, he was 4 for 4 for threes in the first half. that didn't matter. They were
Yeah.
mostly down like 20 points on
Mm-hmm.
average. Actually,
Mm-hmm.
if I was looking back at some of the stats, they were actually on average like what 25 points down
About
throughout majority. That's
for that series. Yeah, it was
and
bad.
the thing is, if you're a coach, what do you do? Like, I don't really know what you can do. Nothing you do can work. Your team can only play one offensive style. They can't really make threes, and your
And
whole team is just linear. How do you win? I just don't know.
that's the problem with it with the NBA now. It's no longer a team. Like I remember when I
Also, James,
played when I
this was
played.
one of the best offensive teams we've ever seen. Dallas wasn't going to win
Yeah,
it. Yeah,
yeah.
that's true. Yeah, I agree.
Boston had no massive star, but they were loaded from from point guard to the fucking last bench guy. They were loaded. They had people just the whole entire team was just loaded. And I see the Knicks building a team like that. They're not there yet, but they're getting close.
Let's
I remember as a
see.
kid playing and then watching. You have when I played fundamentals. I remember not touching a basketball till at least the second week of practice in the season, maybe even the third sometimes, depending on how far out we started practicing, because it was about fundamentals, your footwork, your handwork, sliding. We did practices of nothing but 2 hours of sliding suicide, which is baseline, free throw, baseline, half court, baseline, free throw, baseline, baseline back, and you're sliding. You're doing the defensive slide. And I like my last year playing in I'd say little league bitty basketball, which kind of basketball is little league. We were one of the worst teams after the draft. We played 20 games. We went 18-2 because we only lost the 2 games we lost with a team that went undefeated. And they beat every team by
sucks.
Well, watch, they beat every team by 20 or more points. Both times they beat us was about 4. Because
you were that one team that could like kind of play them close.
Because we played defense, we played fundamentals, we played offense. I somehow learned how to shoot that year. I think my coach and a couple of coaches kept stats. I had like 28, 29 points a game. But I mean, I was everywhere. My coach was he was a alternate on the Olympics marathon team for like a few Olympics, and his thing was running. We're going to be one of the worst teams out there, but when the game ends, they're bent over, breathing, they can't breathe. You're going to be like you're ready to go for another game, and that's how it was. End of the game, we were ready to play another one. So it was fundamentals. Nowadays, it's all about the flash. It's all about my brand. It's all about. I know I mentioned earlier that a shot was made after a travel. If you watch a game, you watch really close, almost every player will travel multiple times a game when they shoot. This whole Euro step or this step they can take now, I think it's bullshit. That's traveling.
Walter says Kyrie was too ineffective that series for them to have a legit chance. The duo in Dallas was very reminiscent of the OKC team with Durant and Westbrook, where they had to drop 60 combined more to win. Yeah. Unless Kyrie and Luka teamed up and actually made anything happen, they just did nothing. I remember there was a play I was watching from this Game 5 earlier last week where, I think it was Derek Lively. Yeah, so Luka gave it to Derek Lively. Derek Lively's tall as fuck. He can just drop the ball, and he misses. I'm like, just stop playing. Just stop playing. If the only you got to factor in that's the only way that you can win, and one of the tallest guys on your team can't even make that. You just got to just give it up.
Well, I know that's another thing that people think height means you're good.
It should.
I remember in college.
Yeah.
I was the shortest person out of all my group of friends I met when I was in college. And one night we were like, let's go play basketball. And they would give me all kinds of shit. Like, you're a short little white dude. You don't know what you're doing. You can't play basketball. We get to the playground. I grab the ball. I drive the court. I'd go lay up. I was like 2 or 3 inches off the rim. And one guy was like, he's on my team. Like, you really can't play? I'm like, yeah, motherfucker. Just because I'm short don't mean I can't play. The people think height means, you can play.
They usually mean easy buckets when you're that tall.
Yeah. And
James says Kyrie got something in his head. Dude went like 1-13 after he stomped on the Celtics logo. Hey, he did say he would give Boston a championship. Just wasn't with them. He just had to be against them to do it. See,
Yeah.
he was too far ahead of the curve. Paul George left the Clippers just to go to the Clippers of the East, the 76ers. Paul George, Joe
Embiid,
and Maxey are going to be a force if they can play at least 15 games.
I am talking. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I agree. Shit, he threw my
Oh, it's okay.
train of thought off. Thank you. Yeah. So when you brought he left the Clippers to go to the Clippers of the East.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people will say, they'll talk shit about how the East was such a force when LeBron played there. They were not. The East was a joke. Most of their team, I think, with the 5 through 8, sometimes 4 through 8, had losing records and made the playoffs. And
that's
so,
yeah, East Coast.
I think
East Coast is trash coast.
Well, they were. Now it's gotten sort of kind of balanced lately. But I remember, like, I think it was 5 of the 8 finals LeBron went back to back to were on the East when there was barely any teams that can touch a West team.
What do you think about Kawhi Leonard? Do you think he's going to be leaving the Clippers offseason? Or is there rumors that you think he might be?
I want to say he's. I don't know how to put this. I don't want to say he's.
You can say washed.
I think he's reaching the end of his longevity. His engine's wearing out.
The player that's always just surprised me is James Harden. Always a star in the regular season, gets to playoffs, always chokes. That's always been his thing. And every year, someone will tell you, "Hey, man, it's his year." He's just cursed. He's never doing it, guys. I'm sorry.
As a Saints fan, from the time I can remember, it was always it's next year. Next year's our year. It's as a fan, you do that. You do that, but it's not. Yeah, it's not going to happen.
What do you think? Okay, obviously, sometimes it's not his fault. Why do you think he always chokes? It's always he's not performing in playoffs. He's just a regular season star. It's all he is, really.
That's it brings me back to I think players their egos are boosted bigger than their actual skill. Like if you okay, that when I mentioned, go and play with those guys, I drove the court as fast as possible, driven, threw a layup. We played basketball for a few hours, and I held my own, but I for long term I couldn't play with those dudes. There's no way. I just didn't have the skill to play with them. And society nailed it. James Harden was overrated by his scoring, and I said the same thing with Allen Iverson. That dude was and Kobe Bryant.
Oh, he was on the Bucks, right? I was talking to
Iverson. No, Iverson was a 76er. Oh, Iverson scored 58 games in a row. Yeah, but he's also shooting 90 times.
Well, he's like the only person that they're giving the ball to as well. Yeah,
well, I mean, was it when Kobe scored 80? I think he shot like 60 times.
Well, that's when they were calling him a ball hog. That's when that originated from. Yeah,
I know. I kind of made this comment, and it was a little overrated for me to make it. Was I can score 50 in the NBA if I shoot 70 times a game as well.
You can also shoot 50 points when your teammate's the only person you're getting the ball passed to.
Yeah, and when I get the ball, I don't pass to anybody else.
I don't think people actually know how that works, though. If my teammates give me the ball 90% of the times, and I make let's say 60 points, I hope you're able to do that. You get the ball every single time.
Yeah, and their shooting percentage, which determines your helps determine your efficiency and effectiveness. Give me 1 second.
Verify, man. I'll just talk to these black guys in the chat. He said, sorry. Verify, man.
I had to turn off a light. The kids turned on.
Sorry. Every white guy I know shoots threes. They all played like Pistol Pete plus Larry Bird.
I mean, that's what we had to do, man.
From 2003 to 2019. He's got the knees of an 80-year-old person.
He's talking about Kawhi. Yeah.
Yeah. James is talking about James Harden. Now, he played well in 2017. They all just got hurt. That's all. I want to notice that's always the excuse for someone. When someone's supposed to be a good star, it's always their team is hurt. And always that.
There are players that do get to the pros, and they're unlucky. They just get hurt a lot. I can't remember this kid's name, but they made a movie about him. back in the late 90s about two kids. They were like the top AAU players in the country, and one destroyed his knee before he made it to college. I think one made it to college and just was horrible. But that some players that happens, man. They get there, they get to the show, and they just get hurt. And a lot of as a person who's been injured quite a few times, one injury climbs on top of the other one, and they keep climbing. They keep piling on top of each other. Like my ankles are shit. If you look at them, I got two balls of my ankles from as many times they were rolled and sprained. That it was like that in high school. I kept rolling my ankles and like twisting like spraining my ankles.
Oh gosh. Hey man, maybe it'll be this year coming up. That'll be James Harden's year. Maybe by the time I'm married with 5 kids by a hot white or Mexican woman, maybe that's when he'll win his first ring.
If he joins the Celtics, or the Knicks, he may have a shot.
Okay, I will believe it's like in league sometimes where we have like these bad teams who it'll be this year, man. It'll be okay. After like the third time, I stop believing that. I'm sorry. Well, after the third time, I just stop. It's over, man. It's just sometimes you gotta believe things just aren't meant to be, man. Come on.
And again, as a Saints fan, NFL Saints fan, my whole life, this year's our year. 2009 was finally our year. They won the Super Bowl.
I will say this too. From the years I've seen out of him, he's not always the reason why his team lost, but he's also sometimes not the reason why they win either.
Yeah, like many games I watch, he'd come down if he wasn't
played well. Yeah, sometimes he would play legitimately well. Yeah.
Right. But like this game I watch, if he wasn't point, he'd come down, pass on the ball, boom, shoot it. Like, okay, go down, defense, get the ball, come back.
That's what Westbrook
they get it back to him, shoot it. Like, dude,
whenever that OKC team would be losing, they would just give the ball to Westbrook, and he would just randomly just be doing 3-pointers whenever no one would be even down the line for defense. He would just shoot because he just gives up. He would just mentally implode in his brain. I'm like, you can't do that.
Yeah,
but that's what happens when you are around black people. They give up when things get tough.
Oh, come on. Only certain people in all races do that shit. People who think they're the greatest and they don't have to try. Yes, this is right here.
It's like whenever LeBron doesn't win, it's because he doesn't have enough help. Like he doesn't pick the team. I will say that there's a lot of credence to that. You factor in how much sway he actually has.
He does. I can guarantee. Look, the Magic Johnson, a lifelong Laker who was a co-owner or was part of front office, left because of LeBron James, because LeBron James made all decisions.
I have to get a little bit tape watch for me personally. I don't know if I put him in my top 10. I just find other players to be a lot better, honestly.
I'm gonna go.
My top 2 favorite players of all time are LeBron James and Kobe Bryant. Those are my top 2.
Skill, I'm gonna put LeBron James probably 4th or 3rd. Actual overall of all time, I'm gonna drop him out of the top 10 because he gives up on defense way too often. He chokes so much in the clutch and blames others in the post game, and it was the flopping that right there adds to his thing. Like the guy will, like, someone passes by him, he'll like dude. Another one.
No, I would say there's an argument you can make for top 10. I've just seen other players that I would argue could be there, but you want to put them top 10 for sure. If you're asking me my top 2 players that I've always enjoyed watching throughout my time, it's always been Michael Jordan. When I would go back and watch, like, when he would play, because I couldn't watch live, we didn't have cable at the time, so I had to go back on throughout the time vault and see him play. And I was around when Kobe was playing, so I was a huge fan when he was playing.
If you could watch Jordan games, I've watched a bunch of videos of YouTubers who were like a massive LeBron James like fanatics.
Mm-hmm.
They get their hands on a Jordan highlight film, and by the end they're like, yeah, LeBron can't touch this guy. My top 2 would be Jordan and either Dr. J or Wilt.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have them two. Like,
he likes Larry Bird a lot.
Who's that? Who?
James. He likes Larry Bird.
Dude, I know people talked a lot of shit how great LeBron was. Larry Bird's stats were better than LeBron James for most of their careers. Yeah.
Give me 1 sec, everyone.
And Society's right. If the ESPN wasn't around, LeBron wouldn't be as big as he is. I can see Kareem being number 2.
Oh, and so as you guys, well, some of you guys wanted us to do like news. It really just depends, honestly. If we can even fit it into other shows, like little small pieces of news, it's fine. So there was a few big ones today. Walter brought it up, and we'll go over that in just a second here. Society said Jordan and then
I can
Kareem.
see Kareem. Yeah, Kareem. I
Jordan,
can see
Kareem,
that.
Magic. I
I
feel
can see
bad.
both.
I liked
Are good
Shaq when he
arguments.
played. I like when I ever see anything Shaq game highlight anything. It's fun to watch Shaq play.
Oh, Shaq was fun to watch and he was good, but I'm with these two guys. The
Yeah,
top two. I could see Kareem Magic being in that argument for the top two
hell yeah.
players. Absolutely.
CJ, what's up, buddy? Jordan Will. All right. So as Walter pointed out, give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. Walter
Talking about
pointed this out.
the
Klay
trade.
Thompson.
Yep.
Klay Thompson, who's been on the Warriors for a very, very long time, is going to the Mavericks.
This is going to be a massive pickup for Dallas. Massive.
Do you think this is the piece that gives them the edge to win a title potentially coming into next year? I would say.
If he's old Klay, if he's the Klay that has been the last few years, which I think being in San Francisco as well was hurting him.
Like if people are thinking about the old
wrong.
Warriors that used to just win titles consistently, they haven't been that way for a very long time. Let's just be honest here. It's literally just fucking Steph Curry or bust for the most part at this point.
And I could see Klay coming into Dallas and then fitting into that offense. Absolutely.
Free agent guard Klay Thompson has agreed on a 3-year, $50 million contract with the Dallas Mavericks, ending his historic 13-year run with the 4-time champion Golden State Warriors, sources told ESPN on Monday. Thompson's deal was largely inspired by the chance to compete for a 5th title with the Western Conference champion Mavericks. Of course, that's why he would go. He's like, man, hey, Curry, I like you. It's like that meme of the girl looking at the girl looking at his dude.
Yeah.
It's just I can't do it anymore.
He did say he wanted to stay in San Francisco.
They always say that, but when the money talks, the check came in. He was like, "Yeah, that's too much to pass up." That's what happened.
Yeah, I think like it can fit in and be a third option in that offense. Not having to be like top 2, like when he was with the Warriors, it was always
no, Michael. You can't talk to black people. I forbid you.
It was always Steph and Klay. Like he had to be top 2. He can be the 3rd or even a 4th or even a 5th option in this offense, and he could fit.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Okay, I read that. The deal negotiated by his agent, Greg Lawrence of Wazer. What crazy names do you have?
Wasserman.
Required a multi-team sign and trade that sends Mavericks guard forward Josh Green to the Charlotte Hornets and 2 second-round picks to the Warriors. Dallas is sending its own 2031 second-round pick in the deal, as well as the least favorable of the 76ers or Nuggets second-round pick in 2025, a source said. Okay?
So, yeah, that's confusing in itself. One, in 7 years, they'll get a pick for this guy.
Yeah.
And what the second part of that sentence is, there was a deal they made where they got a second-round pick from the Nuggets and the 76ers for, like, the 2025 draft.
Right.
Whichever one. And what's crazy is how they perform this year will determine where their rank is next year in the draft. And whichever one is the worst draft spot, that's who the Warriors are going to get in that. It's so confusing.
The Lakers were extremely intriguing to Thompson, but the financial savings from living in Texas over California and the fact that the Mavericks came within 3 victories of an NBA championship were big factors in his decision, sources said. In the final season of Thompson's remarkable 13-year Warrior career, his relationship with the franchise became increasingly strained over contract discussions and his looming free agency. His departure became more and more likely as the season progressed. His unhappiness grew as his role with the team fluctuated throughout the season, punctuated by him being pulled from the closing lineup in early February and moving to a bench role later that month. Thompson, 34 years old, averaged 17.9 points last season, his lowest since 2012-2013. His Warriors tenure ends with his place in franchise and NBA history cemented. The trio of Curry, Thompson, and Draymond Green accounted for 500 18 wins in the regular season and playoffs, 6th most by a trio all time. Their 98 playoff wins together rank 3rd in NBA history, and their 4 titles are tied with Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, and Tony Parker for the most by an all NBA trio over the past 50 seasons, according to ESPN stats and information research. I mean, I'll be honest here. Once you already win this much on an org, like, what else you got to really do anymore?
Well, I can mention their relationship was strained for a while,
a long time,
which also I feel affected his play. Now I like 17.9 game. Oh, he only scored that much. That's 18 points a game. How many? That's still pretty goddamn good in the NBA, man. You know, he's bringing that to Dallas, where he doesn't have to score that much, but he shows he still can. You know, he can be another threat on the floor that teams will have to guard. So I mean, it could be a really good trade.
Dallas. And society wanted us to cover this. Thank you, man. Because if you didn't tell me that, then I would have forgot. So I mean, I'll be honest here. This is literally not surprising at all. I mean, this happens. This is not surprising at all. And then we'll get to the other big topic, and then we'll get to the other show. Okay, guys? Give me 1 second here. So the Celtics just won a championship.
This is
crazy. Jason Tatum signs a contract for 5 years with them. No, guys, I'm not pretending to be shocked. That makes sense.
Well, no,
he just won a championship. He won a championship, and they signed him to a multi-year contract. That makes perfect sense.
I'm gonna say players are paid too much, but yeah, I could.
Why is this news to anyone? Hey, team that just won a championship re-signed their best player.
What society said in the chat, I think is bigger news. Boston re-signed their entire team. That's massive. That is massive.
That's insane.
That an NBA a championship team can be held together.
Back to back? You think? 2025 championship?
Because look, usually when a team wins, every player thinks they're the greatest thing since sliced bread, so they want more money. It's crazy that they signed every player back, and then I mean it's insane that they got the entire team.
Celtics, Jason Tatum agrees to a 5-year, $314 million deal. Boston Celtics star Jason Tatum has agreed on a 5-year, $314 million contract extension. God, damn.
That's so obnoxiously gross.
304. I swear he had this big contract signing a while ago when he first joined the Celtics. A while ago, whoever his agent is, that's a man sent from the heavens. Just saying, his agent got him the fattest contract.
And look at his stats. Not much better than Klay Thompson.
Ooh, yes, that's right.
Points a game?
60, yep. Including a player option and trade kicker, sources told ESPN. Adrian, oh my goodness, on Monday. Why do you guys have these horrible names?
What are
these names? Tatum, age 26, led Boston to its 18th NBA title with a 5-game victory over the Dallas Mavericks in the NBA Finals, averaging 22 points, 7.8 rebounds, and 7.2 assists as the Celtics passed their forever rivals, the Los Angeles Lakers, for the most championships in league history. God damn.
Yeah, I think, yeah. And look,
fucking hell.
You can blame these inflated player contracts on Pistol Pete Maravich.
No,
he was the first player to ever get $1 million contract.
I know, man. I just hate these names. Why do you guys have such confusing names? Why can't you guys have simple names like Derek and John and Bellino or something?
Bellino? That's a Bellino?
Have simple names. God damn. The 6 foot tall. I would love to be 6'9", guys. Man, I
like to be 6 feet.
Yeah. Good
5'6".
Lord. The 6'9" forward, who was drafted 3rd overall by the Celtics in 2017, has developed into one of the NBA's top 2 weight talents on the wing, partnering with Jaylen Brown, whom Boston signed to what was a record extension a year ago, to form arguably the best wing tandem in the league today. Don't speak to me anymore. This doesn't count. The Celtics also agreed to an extension with guard Derek White earlier on Monday. Boston now has every member of its starting lineup under the contract through at least 2025, 2026.
2 more years of this. That's insane.
Tatum is a 5-time All-Star and 4-time All-NBA selection, including being named to All-NBA first team in the past 3 seasons. Wow.
Yeah, I think this is insane for players to get this amount of money, but I mean,
any other big news you guys want us to cover? Anything else, honestly?
I mean, I wasn't aware of the Clay. I was watching the Clay thing, but I wasn't sure. I wasn't aware he had signed. I've been
What's the
busy
Lakers
with
got going
some
on?
shit.
Oh wait, nothing. They
That
were
I think
rumored to sign Klay Thompson, but he
no,
was like,
no.
"Fuck California," because
But
California is garbage.
when you open the link, it said he agreed to the terms were agreed to. Man, that's like I said, he could be a huge key to that puzzle, man. He doesn't have to be the top 2 or 3 options. He can be, later. He can come in as a off the bench and just freaking put it to him.
Okay, so I know you guys talked about Paul George earlier. NBA free agency 2024 reaction and grades for the biggest signings. So where did Paul George ended up landing at? Actually, let's see. Tatum Boston agree. Beatsy returns to Orlando. Harrison to Detroit. Thompson leaves Golden State for Dallas.
George is the 76ers? Damn.
It's Melton to Golden State for a year. And give me 1 second, guys. I'm old and black.
Well, if you look at the chat, they said the 76ers got Paul George.
76ers got Paul George? Was he on?
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to ask if you guys want us.
That could
You guys,
be.
yeah, okay. I just wanted to make sure we got that in there.
That could be another
They signed
good
into
one.
a 4-year max contract.
$250 million, I think, for max. I forgot what the max is.
Oh yeah. These numbers. Where they're pulling these numbers out their ass.
And look, I know a lot of people they
Makes no
think
sense.
it's amazing to own a team, but most owners lose money on their teams.
They do this
They
as
don't
a
make
competition to each other, and they're billionaires too, so they really don't.
Yeah,
I mean,
like
yeah, you know,
yeah, like they lose money, but they win. They earn money in other places to kind of balance it off.
$212 million deal.
They had a local owner here of a business, one of the largest boat companies in America, like local to me. He was going to be part owner of the Hornets before they became the Pelicans in New Orleans, before the NBA took control of the team. And I actually know him pretty well. And his dad and my grandfather were business partners. And I'd spoken to one of his kids about it. He's like, "Yeah, man, my dad's gonna buy in."
I remember Paul George was on the Clippers. I remember Paul George was on the Clippers with Kawhi Leonard, and he was there for 5 seasons. I remember when he was. Yeah, okay, he's gone. Wow, fucking crazy.
They lost what's his face from LSU, so they should be all right. Ben something.
All right, and the last thing we'll talk about for today is something that Darnell wanted to talk about because he loves LeBron James. Is that, well, honestly, it's not surprising to me, but it's surprising to a lot of people because people aren't terminally online and stare at their computer screens like I do. LeBron, I'm not even shitting you guys. LeBron James' son is going to be on the Lakers competing, obviously, alongside his dad, coming up later on this year when the season starts again. Remember, if you just watch this kid play, and he wants to be like his dad. I can understand the admiration. I can understand it, but he is just not as good as his dad.
Listen,
if the Lakers are trying to win, remember, all these teams are making like big signings. Paul George, 76ers, Mavericks get Klay Thompson, all that shit. And the Lakers are like,
from Atlanta.
Right?
Yeah.
Celtics re-signed their whole team. The Lakers do? They're like, man, you know what we get? We get LeBron James' son.
And look, if this picture
and they're gonna try and tell us they're gonna win a championship.
And look, if this picture is you can't see, but this picture's right.
Oh, I can.
Okay. LeBron James' son, 55th pick overall. 4.8 points a game, 2.8 rebounds a game, 2.1 assists a game. Another player from USC went undrafted. His stats, 16.5 points a game, 3.5 rebounds a game, 3.0 assists a game. Triple LeBron James' son's points per game, and he wasn't drafted. It was not because of his talent. The whole thing was to put butts in seats. Is the only reason, and again, that shows you how much power he has over the Lakers. He wanted it, he got it. I am legitimately surprised they didn't grab him first pick that they got.
Yeah, and society, to your comment right there for the Clippers, that is also true. They ain't winning anything.
They're cursed.
Yeah, like if people look okay, I gotta brush up on my NBA history, but this has to be one of the worst offseason signings to a big NBA franchise. This has to be. This has to be one of the worst.
What you can
Is
argue?
it not?
You can argue D Brown was back in the 90s, but that dude died before he ever touched a
Okay, I would
basketball.
say this. In most recent memory, this one, in most recent memory, this is going to be remembered as one of the worst ones.
So, wait, I don't know if you're familiar with this D Brown thing. He got drafted and died. He had cocaine overdose right after draft night. From partying.
I did not remember that.
Yeah, in the 90s. It was a long time
Did
ago.
Paul George get stabbed at a bar one time by a hooker?
Yes.
I'm pretty sure it was him or someone else. Oh,
I'm pretty sure it's Paul George.
They aren't going to get drafted because they're all garbage. You get like 1 out of 1,000 dudes that's actually good in the latest second round. I'd rather just get person to put butts in seats. No. What I'm saying is all these other bigger franchises are trying to actually go out and sign a decent player to potentially boost their standings next year by the time we get to playoffs, right?
Yeah.
The Lakers are like, you know what, LeBron, you really haven't been actually shit for us for most of the time you've been here. Hey, let's just sign your son. Who that is a speed run by a GM to be fucking last place.
They are.
He's not going to be on the starting roster. There's no way he'll be on the starting roster. At least, no, he's consistently. Now, here's a hypothetical world. Let's say Lakers are like first place or at least top 3. Maybe you throw him in like in fourth quarters to say fuck it sometimes. If he's actually on the starting roster, they're going to get last or maybe last place. His son is not good.
No, he's not. It's all done for show.
This has to be one of the worst signings.
They are a circus. They're a circus. They're a three-ring circus. People go to watch for the drama,
spectacle,
and the spectacle. They don't. Yeah. They're not a team. And look, society nailed it, and he nails it again right here. If it wasn't for ESPN, LeBron James wouldn't be this. He wouldn't have been this massive player. He would have come and gone like a lot of other players. And all week they've been freaking like just making him seem the greatest thing since sliced bread. I don't remember any of the top 10 players in the NBA having their own half-hour special saying what team they're going to play for. I don't remember any of these other top 20, 30 players in the NBA giving up on defense as much as he does, crying as much as he does.
And I did hear about that, and that does suck. That sucks.
Absolutely.
But before that, he wasn't good before that.
Absolutely. And look, I really feel for the guy for the heart attack. And once you come back, you can never really come back 100% from a heart attack. But I mean, and like you said, his stats were not good before that. Mm-hmm. Just because your dad's, who they are, doesn't mean you're going to be. Jordan's kids both suck at basketball. Well, no, I mean they suck compared to him.
Yeah, but that's a huge standard, though. And
just because just because your parents this doesn't mean you're going to be that.
I just don't understand it. Like. Maybe they don't want to tell people, hey, we don't have any money. Is that the reason?
No, dude, no. They're going to offer that kid so much fucking money. It's ridiculous.
That's sad.
And that's actually sad. What I think. I think they're going to offer him a ton of money.
Are you telling me they can't grab anyone? Are you telling me they can't grab anyone better than that?
Listen,
the guy who's basically almost like a cripple having a heart attack.
They're doing it. And I agree that he shouldn't be on the roster. But I think they're doing it to try and convince LeBron to play there longer and stay there. That's why they did it. That's why they can offer this kid a ton of money.
I know. I don't disagree with that. But it's like they're leveraging keeping LeBron James because they're so they're so scared of losing him for whatever fucking reason that they would tank their own potential standings coming up next year to put his son on the team. I'll be honest here. I don't see a world with that guy. Fucking hell, I can see it right now. He chokes every game. He's just scared to do anything on the stage.
Yeah, like society just said, they hired a former player who is pretty much LeBron James' personal podcast host to be the coach. He only played a few years in the league, and he has no coaching experience.
This isn't real. This isn't real. I don't live in this timeline.
They hired JJ Redick.
I don't live in this timeline. I just want them to win another. Before I die, Lakers, could you please win another championship? To be fair, the one you won 4 years ago kind of maybe technically doesn't count. But
it could be argued that Anthony Davis is the reason they won that title, not LeBron James.
I would say too. But it's
but wait,
what?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Hold on, time out. They did win the mid-season championship too.
Oh, shut up.
Which I have no clue why there's a mid-season tournament now. I don't understand.
No, you said earlier, ratings. They think more NBA, the better.
It's not, though.
I know. Then, oh, God. Don't forget, they hire LeBron's podcast.
Yeah, we hate you on the bubble ring.
Whoa. What did you say to me? Because I'll be honest with you, I did not know that. They hired a podcast host.
I told that to you. Yeah, JJ Redick, the guy they hired as the new coach, does a play. He was a player. Now he works for ESPN. I think he does the commentary like in the studio, and he also does a podcast. But people say he's like,
sorry, you're right. You're fine.
People say he's like LeBron James' personal host because like the dude just like keeps propping him up.
Oh no! I thought he was just a player turned podcast host, and
no.
Okay, that would have been an even major L. Actually, that'd been bad.
He has no coaching experience.
Oh,
he only played for a couple. In college, the guy was fucking draining shots.
How is this guy supposed to sit up here and coach LeBron James's son and that not be a clash? I don't know. Hell, man.
They could have grabbed the homeless guy from San Francisco to be the coach. It doesn't matter. LeBron James is the coach of that team.
He might be a troon. You might, that might actually work.
LeBron James is the coach of that team. He has been. He is the coach of that team. I'm sorry. And I know he gets butthurt when people will talk about him. And if by some chance he does see this show, he's going to get butthurt and attack you and myself and anybody else who commented. That shows you the measure of his personality.
Yeah, and people were talking about
get offended by he will get offended by nobodies.
Yeah,
talking truth.
And people were talking about nepotism. I was like, guys, that's first of all, that's a thing in that's not just a Lakers thing. This is the thing in every job you can only imagine. Nepotism. You know a friend, they get you hired based off who you know versus what you can do. That's not what I'm surprised about. I'm surprised that people are surprised that he got his son hired on the Lakers. Like, what? How are you not? How is this not surprising that he got his son to play on the Lakers? Let's be honest here. His son's not getting any contracts from any other franchise to play. Do you know what I think would be a cool idea? Is if his son was hypothetically good in another universe, like on Earth 2, and they compete against each other. That would be pretty fun.
I would have been down for that.
That'd be hype as hell. Like if he got drafted to the Cavaliers. That'd be hype as fuck, honestly.
Because look, I know you can't really relate to this, but all sons want to beat their dads.
Okay. All right. Oh,
I had to, brother. I had to. No.
Are you saying black people like doing crime?
No, you specifically. No. Yes, that is also true. That is also true. No. All sons want to be able to beat their dads at something. Like I to this day, I'm in my mid-40s. I can't beat my dad in basketball. I can't. That's something a son wants to do. He wants to be able to beat his dad. And I would watch that game if he's playing against his dad. That would be a game I'd want to watch. I don't care to on the court at the same time.
Imagine the ratings right now, whereas if LeBron James' son was on an East Coast team, let's say the Cavaliers, hypothetically,
Celtics,
and he's playing against LeBron, just the hype alone sell out the whole fucking stadium.
I keep picturing him playing for
the Hawks. That's way better.
I could absolutely.
It's way more. It's way better and way more better for their league and in terms of a rivalry if they're against each other. Because together, I'll be honest with you guys, if he's on the start, has it been confirmed if he's going to be on the starting roster?
No, he has to make the team.
Oh God, there's no way he makes the starting roster. No serious franchise who wants to win a championship. It's like
right
we'll
now,
put this guy on our starting roster. There's no way.
Right now, teams are kind of like on their vacations right now. The draft was kind of like the last thing to do before the summer, league practices start. So they're kind of like taking it easy. And I disagree with what society just said because LeBron James cannot admit he's wrong. He cannot admit he's wrong.
Would you imagine that?
He'll never admit that. The
world in where he throws his son. To be fair, I will agree with this. If he does do that, they'll play against each other, which would be also super hype.
Let me rephrase that. He's going to do this. But he's going to say someone else traded his son, not him.
He's like, it was out of my control.
He cannot admit he did wrong. I don't remember seeing him ever admit he did wrong.
He's black. They can't do that. And he probably votes for Joe Biden.
No, stop.
It's just what they do, man. You give black people power, and this is what they become. They become just fucking the funny guy with the mustache. All right, so gonna be wrapping it up here. We got to get to our other Monday Mayhem show, but it was fun to do this as our first NBA talk episode. Wanted to just cover Celtics winning the championship. Congratulations to them. I don't like the East Coast. East Coast is trash, but Celtics are the Lakers' biggest rivals, so fuck them guys. But congratulations, Jason Tatum, on winning your fucking first title. Fucking black bastard. And yeah, Klay Thompson going to the Mavericks. Is that going to be the piece to get them to actually holding the trophy for this next championship season coming up? Paul George to the Sixers, like you guys said.
Oh, wait. There's one other thing. I just remembered it. Chris Paul was signed by the Spurs today. Chris Paul from the former Pelicans, Hornets point guard and Lakers point guard and Phoenix point guard.
Chris Paul. I remember him. I remember him.
Really?
He's signed to the Spurs.
Yeah. The Spurs today. He's probably signed to the Spurs today. He was with Phoenix. He was with the Warriors.
Golden State. Yeah. I remember him. The Warriors,
then they let him go, and now San Antonio grabbed him. Oh yeah, the Warriors are done.
They've been done forever. They peaked at the right moment because they built that good team. Once that team ran out its juice, it was over. Yeah. No, I didn't think they were going to be winning more than what they had already won, honestly. Yeah. All right, man. Anything else you want to say, Shill, before we head out, actually?
That was it. Yeah, Sham Records on YouTube. We've been kind of taking it easy last couple of weeks. But check it out. It's a black record logo with yellow inside. So there's a bunch of Sham Records, but that's the one you got to find.
Yes, and you guys have been, asking us to do a little bit more different stuff, so I felt like this was a new fun thing because I was like, you know what? I kind of want to start getting back into watching sports again. And we always talk about basketball anyway. And I was thinking to myself, well, why not have a dedicated basketball Iron Man podcast series to do it anyway? So keep in mind, after this one, this kind of show will not exist or happen again until the season begins. Not preseason. I mean, the actual season where the records count, okay? Not preseason where the Lakers are going to go undefeated in preseason and then end up like 10th, honestly. Yeah, that doesn't count. Actual season where we could see Klay Thompson actually trying to win. That's what I want to see. So what we're going to do is that, obviously I'm going to watch the Laker games. Obviously I'm a Laker fan. But any of the games you guys want me to watch or games you guys want to watch, just let us know and we'll watch them. Will we have guests on the show? That's kind of just up to how I don't know. We'll just figure that out at some point. Society's black, so I don't know if we really want to have that guy on sometimes. James is white. Imagine a white guy talking about black people dunking. Like, that would be kind of a hit or miss kind of thing.
What am I?
Oh, yeah, you're right, huh? Fuck. Well, yeah, that was a joke, honestly. But
I know.
So we'll have guests on at some point, but I want to just do two people because it's easier to get, stuff out and stuff said, honestly. What I will do is I will go back and look at some other stuff that I've been needing to do with the NBA. He wanted to talk about the whole Caitlin Clark thing, actually. We could do that. Oh, we already covered that, I think, on one of the other shows ago.
I don't remember.
For the WNBA? Yeah, we already covered that. So, yeah, keep in mind, guys, when the season starts again and the teams are playing and the records count, this will happen again for the Iron Man podcast. So, as you guys know, this podcast includes everything we want to talk about, one-on-ones. We have the movie, TV stuff, You
can cover the WNBA playoffs if you want.
Oh, God. Please don't make me suffer.
I like watching sports of all types. So, I mean, the Olympics, I'll be glued to my TV for 2 weeks.
So I'm being completely honest here. I have not been keeping up with that at all. Okay. So I will be
no problem, man.
Noob. But where are they at right now? Where are they at?
They're about to hit their the All-Star weekend in a few weeks.
Okay,
I think it's September.
Is their season over officially?
Oh no! It's the All-Star weekend's in the middle of the season, so they have 3 months left of the season. Oh yeah, they still have a few months left.
Okay, so they haven't got to playoffs yet, right?
No, that won't start to August, September.
I mean, I guess. Okay, so what are the best games to watch? What are the best teams to watch? The one that's with
anybody
Caitlin,
playing Indiana because they're Chicago and Indiana are probably the game you want to watch because Chicago has Angel Reese and that Chinity Carter, the girl who have physically attacked Caitlin on the court.
Oh God, eat my ass,
I'd
please.
watch that.
I will try. I'm not going to commit yet because I don't want to actually get a rope and end it all. But we'll see what happens. We'll play it by ear, and
Well,
then we will.
yeah, I watched the game last weekend, the Chicago Indiana game, and when I turned it on, it was like 8 minutes left to go in the game, and Indiana's up by 10. Chicago won at the end. They came into the lead by 10, and then Indiana fought back. It was crazy, man. It was back and forth. It was
If you guys
good
want to see me at my most sexist, then I could just watch the WNBA. I'm like, damn, women should be in the fucking kitchen making me food instead of playing this basketball. So yes, okay, I will say this: if I decide with Darnell to cover WNBA stuff, then we'll do that. But if you don't see us do that, as an asterisk, if you don't see that, then we'll return with this when the official season starts. And yeah, Michael is a Spurs fan. Fuck the Spurs, they suck. Y'all trash. Get some rings under your belt. Oh wait a minute.
Excuse me.
I just want to be that guy with all the trophies, like this, pretending like I won them.
Hey, look
at my rings.
I come from a town that has one title in all major sports, so shut the fuck up. Now give me LSU. Add LSU to the mix. We got some titles to talk about.
All right. Well, thank you guys for checking out this episode of the Iron Man Podcast, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye, everyone. Deuce.